Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Learning Hub, where we break down the coolest ideas in science and tech so anyone can understand them. Today, I want to dive into a topic that's honestly at the core of all those jaw-dropping AI conversations you hear about. Something that sparked debates, inspired movies, and even made us question what it means to be human. I'm talking about the Turing test. If you've ever wondered, can a computer actually think, or could a machine ever be as smart as a person? Well, this is where the whole debate really starts. The Turing test is the original challenge that set the stage for everything we talk about in AI today. So let's rewind to the 1950s for a second. Picture a world where computers are the size of rooms, and the idea of a thinking machine sounds like pure science fiction. There's this British mathematician and codebreaker named Alan Turing. He's not just any scientist. He's the guy who helped crack secret codes during World War II and basically laid the foundation for modern computing. Turing was a total legend, and he asked a question that changed everything. Can machines think? But instead of getting lost in endless arguments about what thinking really means, he decided to make things practical. Turing came up with a simple but brilliant experiment. He wanted to test if a machine could act so much like a human that you couldn't tell the difference just by having a conversation. He called it the imitation game. But nowadays, we just call it the Turing test. Here's how it works, and it's actually pretty fun to imagine. Imagine you're texting with two people. One is a human, and the other is an AI. You don't know who's who, and you can only communicate through written messages. No voices, no faces, just words on a screen. Your job is to figure out which one is the human and which one is the machine, just by chatting. You can ask anything you want, jokes, riddles, personal stories, or even weird questions. If you can't tell the difference or if you guess wrong, then the AI has officially passed the Turing test. That means it's managed to imitate a human so well that it fooled you. The wild part? The AI doesn't have to be smart in the way we usually think about intelligence. It just has to be convincing enough to make you believe it's a real person on the other end. Sometimes that means being clever, but sometimes it means making mistakes or telling jokes, just like humans do. But not everyone's a fan of the Turing test, and the debate around it is just as fascinating as the test itself. A lot of people criticize the Turing test. Some argue that it's more about trickery than true intelligence. They say an AI could just memorize a bunch of clever responses, or even pretend to be bad at spelling and grammar to seem more human. Others point out that the test doesn't really measure if a machine understands anything. It just checks if it can fake being human well enough. In other words, it's about performance, not real understanding or consciousness. Some critics even say that passing the Turing test is like winning a costume contest. It's impressive, but it doesn't mean you actually are what you're pretending to be. And honestly, with new AIs popping up everywhere, from chatbots to virtual assistants to creative tools, does sounding human really mean an AI is smart? Or is it just good at mimicking us? It's a fair question, and one that keeps coming up as technology evolves. Still, here's why the Turing test matters, even after all these years. It's not just about fooling someone, it's a way of asking, what does it mean to be intelligent? And how do we even define thinking? The Turing test forces us to look at ourselves and our own minds. It's a philosophical challenge as much as a technical one. It makes us wonder, is intelligence about having emotions, making decisions, or just being able to hold a conversation? It pushes scientists, engineers, and creators to think bigger, to design machines that can understand language, context, and even humor. It's inspired decades of research and innovation in AI. Every time an AI gets closer to passing the Turing test, we learn more about language, emotions, and even ourselves. We discover what makes human communication so unique and what it takes for a machine to truly connect with us. In a way, the Turing test is like a mirror that shows us what it means to communicate, to think, and to be human. It's a reminder that intelligence isn't just about facts and logic. It's about understanding, empathy, and creativity. So next time you chat with a bot, use a smart assistant, or even get a weirdly human-like reply from your phone, remember? The Turing test is the reason we even ask if we're talking to a machine or a person. It's the challenge that started it all. And that question, can machines think, isn't just about technology. It's about us, our future, and how we see ourselves in a world where the line between human and machine is getting blurrier every day. The Turing test is shaping the entire future of artificial intelligence, pushing us to imagine what's possible and challenging us to keep asking the big questions. Thanks for hanging out with me today and exploring the fascinating world of the Turing test. If you learned something new, hit that like button, Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more cool stuff from Learning Hub. See you next time.